Sabrina's trying to tell her friends about like, hey, let's do this like ritual to bring back my mother because this is something girls do, right? And I love how both of them are like, we just found out you're a witch. I don't think this is one of those repatching friend moment activities.
Way too soon. You're asking way too soon.
Yeah. It's like, oh, is it too early? What the fuck do you think? Yeah. Next up, Christian, let's go ahead and talk about something more livelier here. I'm just going to kind of talk over the trailer. The Sabrina the Teenage Witch Christmas special came out yesterday, and you and I saw it. So what do you think about Sabrina the Teenage Witch, the Christmas special we ended up getting? This is the trailer for season 2, but the episode came out, and I was actually more surprised with how in tune that it still followed up the events of season 1 right away. It was a nice fitting of the shoe, so to speak, right? Where it just kind of fit perfectly and, you know, what they wanted to talk about, right? It was still a Christmas special, but it still had plots and events leading up post season 1. So now that we saw it, what did you think of the episode?
Dude, honestly, like pleasantly surprised because I had a little bit of a worry beforehand that maybe we were oversaturating this. You know, we have season 2 coming out in April, which is definitely like the quickest turnaround from a season 1 to season 2. I think Netflix has done. Someone's going to tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. But, you know, for a big show like this, you wanted them to take their time and get it right because it seemed like they did such a good job with season 1. I was worried in the first couple minutes that this was going to kind of be like, can I tell you my biggest pet peeve in television? Because every TV show has done this, where they do a Christmas special and they basically do a Christmas carol. You know what I mean? Where they're like, and then you have to see what your life would have been if you never met this person, right? Goes to Christmas past, like all that shit. It's the laziest fucking thing in the world. And I was really worried that that's kind of what they were doing. And to my surprise, it ended up being really cool. And you're right. The Christmas portion really kicks off in the first 5 to 10 minutes. But aside from that, it feels like season 1 of Sabrina, right? They pick right back up into it. They pick back into like how her friends are dealing with her being a witch and being out in the open about it. Her and Harvey's relationship. You see her try to do good, but there's always unintended consequences. So it felt very much in line with this first season, you know, and a good like, hey, remember, this show is awesome before April. You know, Netflix try to remind you that the show exists.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I do like how after post events of season 1, Sabrina's trying to tell her friends about like, hey, let's do this like ritual to bring back my mother because this is something girls do, right? And I love how both of them are like, we just found out you're a witch. I don't think this is one of those repatching friend moment activities.
Way too soon. You're asking way too soon.
Yeah. It's like, oh, is it too early? What the fuck do you think? Yeah, you're a witch. I'm just trying to unravel what the hell's happening right now, right? And then, you know, we see her friend.
We're going to buy the town history, but because you're our friend, we're not going to burn you. But don't push your luck by asking us to do a fucking seance, right? Like,
yeah.
I kind of loved it. Anyway, keep going. My bad.
No. So I mean, let's go ahead and talk about the episode a bit. So, you know, right away we get that whole Christmas wholesome spirit from any Christmas shows or specials that people kind of just want to tune into, right, as they get ready for it. And of course, because this is being the Sabrina the Teenage Witch show that we now know and love, you know, we of course find out again small things about this universe is what I love, right? Where they're like, oh, instead of saying like, oh, thank God, it's like, oh, you know, thanks Satan for this day that we have here, right? And you know, we do these little rituals, you know, to kind of get the evil spirits out, right? Keeping the chimney fire, you know, open and lit just so, you know, we don't have these little children interfering with our holiday spirits. But if we, of course, find out that's what ends up happening. And now it's up to Sabrina and the gang to kind of figure it out and kind of solve, right? You know, we get Aunt Hilda, we get Aunt Zelda, we get Ambrose. I love Ambrose. He's very charismatic. I love his character so much. And just kind of the adventure of how the episode unravels is pretty good, man. And for it to be a Christmas special, I really enjoyed it from start to finish. Was there any highlighted moments that you like, Christian? Because for me, one of them was definitely the whole Santa Claus being like this crazy demon that made kids into wax children, right? What do you think?
No, that was really powerful, right? And it was also plotted really well, because you saw in the very first scene, they do like a flashback, which I thought was really good technology, by the way, because they got Sabrina to look like she was back in Mad Men times, which was cool. But they set it up as like, oh, she's always wanted to do this. So now as a teenager, like after going through some adversity, right, she saw her like dead relative and shit like that. She gets to have a summer job. She gets to get some responsibility, and she's super happy about it. And of course, now that she's kind of aware, isn't that kind of like how it works, right? Like now that you're kind of aware of the magical world, you're now susceptible to some bad shit happening to you from the magical world, right? Mm-hmm. So I really loved it. They just plotted it really well. The other part that I really like, though, is that so there are like these invisible kids. I forget what they're called already. I'm sorry. But there's these invisible kids that, you know, if your chimney isn't lit, right, the fire's not burning continually, they can get into your house, right? That's your protection spell. And if they get into your house, they're just going to cause havoc and mess with you and blah, 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 right? So my favorite part of this is that mom, you know what I'm talking about? I forget her name. It's like Glinda or something like that. Yeah. Where she's the only one that can get those kids to come back. So she comes over to the house and is like, what you got? Give me some fucking gin, right? She's an alcoholic and shit. But dude, she, to me, and I know you're not a politics guy, she looks like Kellyanne Conway from Donald Trump's team. You know, the blonde woman who kind of looks crypt keeper. I'm not even fucking joking, dude. I could have swore that it was played by her. Like, she looks exactly like her. I should have pulled up a picture for you. But yeah, I really like that whole portion of it. And again, just the world building that they're doing, right? Like, oh, there's this really tragic figure who lives in the mountains, who all of her kids have been taken away and stuff like that. So yeah, I just, in general, I really loved the episode. I wasn't ready for it to be as directly tied to season one as it was, because maybe I'm used to like Doctor Who Christmas specials where it's like overly reliant on like, it's always going to be snowing. It's always going to be some kind of Santa Claus character. You know what I mean? And all the Christmas stuff felt background and perfunctory. So it was really good, man. I was super pleasantly surprised by it.
I kind of like how the big reveal of Sabrina's mother has been a thing back in season one, right? Discovering the parents. So this isn't just a one-off holiday special. It's like, no, it's a holiday special, but now it ties perfectly into the season leading up to season two, because now we get to see her mother, right? Like, we actually got some interaction between her and her mother, and that was a big deal, you know, for Sabrina. And as she kind of slowly wraps into this new role that she's in, right? Because she was telling Ambrose, like, well, hey, I signed my name in this book, but what does that mean, you know? And Ambrose is like, hey, it's going to be okay. And I think, you know, seeing her mother in the episode kind of maybe reinforce that positivity, right? Before we see the craziness of season two, I liked how this isn't just a holiday special, but this is something I think you have to absolutely see leading into season two, you know?
Right, because there's some actual major character implications, right? Where, you know, one of the things that Sabrina wants to ask her mom is, hey, like, you weren't in this world. You didn't walk the dark walk, right? Because you were mortal, and like, I'm in love with a mortal, and I don't know, like, is it fair for me to ask that? So she finally gets to ask that question at the end, and her mom, like, and I think she was expecting her mom to give her the answer she wanted, which is like, no, you and Harvey, you can totally be fine. It's cool. She basically warns her off of it. She's like, I wouldn't make anyone else do what I had to do to go through this. And I thought that that's like super powerful. And of course, that dynamic is going to bleed directly into season two. So yeah, it's definitely a must watch, man. There are some character moments that you definitely need to see.
Cool. All right. So, and let us know what you guys think in the comments about the Sabrina Teenage Witch Christmas episode. Do you agree with this? There's something we left out. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, and I'm sure people will notify me with.